SBN Sports Business Now.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Business Now Live. I'm Holly Koski, and SBN Live is a weekly wrap-up show where we discuss all of the latest news in the sports business world. And as always, you can tune in on Twitter using the hashtag SBNow. And Jason Cole and Max Huber are with me from Row 27. Hey guys, how's it going?
Going great, Holly. How are you?
Doing great?
Doing great.
Going great?
Doing and going great.
Good.
All the above.
I would agree.
Good.
It's a good day.
I would agree. Well, that's very good to hear, and I hope you guys are doing well as well. Starting off today, American Idol, can't believe it's still on the air. It's actually in the 11th season, but they're doing some really kind of cool things with instant polls. They have kind of, they're back in the day they started with the cell phone voting and everything like that, and now instant polls of the audience. So it'll almost have like graphics on air, and it'll be real time. So they'll ask like, do you agree with like the coaches or judges' decision? And then fans can text in to make their voice heard. And I thought this was kind of interesting because I think it has a real applicability to sports, especially in football, in my opinion, where, say, a Fox could run something like this with one of their broadcasts and be like, do you think the right call was made on the field? Do you think they should have gone for it, etc.?
Yeah, there's a lot of data tied into the tweets that are being tracked on this. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity to go ahead and use that geolocation information to put together maps like Sports Nation does or something like that in game. Like, do you agree with that penalty? Do you agree with not calling timeout here?
Right.
You can have that interactivity being featured on the game based upon where people live, and that can really lend that social element to it, and it'll increase the number of people that are actually participating on Twitter, which I think is probably one of the underlying premises of Idol here, if it's declining viewership, is to try to drive more real live viewer activity to maintain the ridiculous sponsorship deals that they have in place.
You mentioned Fox. The one thing I could really see this going for is when there's a questionable call. A lot of times they'll bring the expert on and he'll talk about it, especially something that what if fans think it was a touchdown, if they think it was a holding call, whatever. I see that this could really be in play on that. And like you mentioned, American Idol, I can't believe it's still around.
I know.
They have to be doing something different. So this is a different way for them to get fans engaged, and I could see it taking off in other sports as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of like letting your fans or the viewers play coach almost, and it's almost another way to increase that at-home viewing experience now that everyone is really sticking to their couches, not going to the game as much, and playing up television viewers, I think. So anything else with that, you guys?
Not much. I can't believe what does it need, like 2 more years and it'll be around for half your life, or
technically it's almost half my life.
Great.
Which is a little scary to think. But yeah, American Idol trying to spice it up a little bit. We'll see if it works for them, but I think it could definitely work in sports. So only a matter of time there. And moving on along.
That would add a lot to a baseball broadcast.
Or that too, yeah.
It really would.
There's a lot of downtime in baseball broadcasts. In football, there's the time between the plays. Hockey, I think, would be very difficult because there's so much action going on.
Same thing with soccer.
Yeah, there's just soccer.
Constant motion.
Yeah, there's always something going on. The time that you'll have is intermissions and half times. But like you mentioned, baseball, during the pitch, the announcer is just sitting there talking the entire time. It's filling dead space. So that's a good point.
They're trying to find content to talk about too, and this is just user-generated content. So same with the social media realm. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they have a unique partnership with Buffalo Wild Wings, where they'll bring their social media staff to Buffalo Wild Wings locations around the Columbus area, and they'll have like almost a social media command center at these games. So it's kind of interesting to bring your staff to a sponsor location and have it, and really trying to engage them there. I don't know if they do this for home games or away games. Probably makes more sense with away games.
I was just going to say that.
they, don't decrease the likelihood of you going to the game, but, really engages the fan while engaging the sponsor as well.
I think this is a really cool idea. It's definitely something that other teams should replicate when you have a heavy away schedule. So, I mean, when you're looking at the NBA, when you're looking at Major League Baseball. But it's just slick. I mean, you have 20 restaurants. You have about 20 away games right now in the Columbus area that are involved with this for them to set up at. I mean, every location is going to be able to do a real-time social remote, probably draw more people in than most radio remotes would. And fits well with the branding that I know the Blue Jackets are trying to do inside the Columbus area, being a young franchise.
To me, it makes sense. Buffalo Wild Wings, beer, wings, sports, that's what they're all about. And then tying in with them, because not every fan's going to go to the game. So, and especially, like you said, road games, get these fans in there, get them interacting with the organization. They did also mention, looking into it a little more, that fans will, there are a few lucky fans that are going to blog from a suite throughout home games.
Yep.
So one way, maybe they're not getting all the suite revenue that they expected. Maybe they've got some inventory available, so they put these fans in there. Get them socially interacting with other fans out there, and create that one-of-a-kind experience that a lot of fans are looking for and might not get otherwise. So I think it's a win-win for both Buffalo Wild Wings and for the Blue Jackets.
Absolutely. Having your staff on site as kind of a grassroots marketing initiative where, you're having your staff members really encourage people to use any real outlet, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, and just getting, the virality of their name out there in hopes it will catch on. So very cool idea, of integrating the sponsor. I'm sure Buffalo Wild Wings loves this, to bring more people into their restaurants as well.
Yeah, I wonder if the staff gets comped wings.
I mean, that'd be nice.
The biggest question that I have going on here. But
I feel like that'd be like in my contract if I was a social media.
Yeah, if I guarantee you, if the guy that the sponsorship guy that negotiated it had to attend all of these, then he probably has that put in there.
They could you could tie in certain hashtags like the blazing moment of the game or the spicy garlic fight of the game. Had a little too much spicy garlic. There's other ways to incorporate exactly what Buffalo Wild Wings stands for.
Right.
And tie this in and really cross-promote the heck out of it.
Love it. Hashtags based on sauces.
I will expect a check, Columbus Blue Jackets, once you start rolling this out. So
spicy garlic fight of the game. That is the moment of today's show right there. Way to go, man.
All right, awesomeness. That'll probably be in a tweet of mine tonight or something like that. But, moving on, NFL is toying with the idea of kind of doing a signing day of their own. High school players do it all the time where they hold, whether it be a press conference or now a Twitter press conference of saying which school they have chosen for, their college experience. And they're trying to do this with free agents now. Scott Pioli, former Chiefs GM, was talking about this at the Combine last weekend, saying, the NFL's really looking to do this for free agents to create yet another media spectacle.
They have so many anti-tampering rules and restricted free agent rules that I don't know if it would ever fly. I mean, if you think you could get away with it inside of the NFL and adhere to those anti-tampering rules, all you have to do is look at LSU and Alabama go back and forth on an 8th grade recruit right now. None of them are adhering to anti-tampering at this point in time. It's not like you're not going to have phone calls going in if you look at the collegiate area as a guide there. But I do think the big winner if they got something like this done would be the players, because when you have that much pressure around that day, these people and these management decisions are now stuck having to get a win. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're a GM under pressure heading into this day and the NFL's made this massive spectacle about it, you're going to end up overpaying with someone so it looks like you did your job and you got to win. You're going to hope it works out a heck of a lot more so than in the current 3-day waiting period and everything else that they have, where it gives you time to sort of, settle and think about your decisions and calm down a little bit.
I see this just step in with what the NFL is trying to do. From reports that came out, they're trying to move back the draft. They're trying to have it so that each month of the entire calendar year has a major NFL event.
Ridiculous.
So you plug this in. You've got like you said, the player lined up at a table. They've got 3 hats in front of them. Make it a big spectacle. The NFL wants to be in the news at all times. And with the social media aspect of it, I mean, it could blow up. You could even have like a narrowing down competition for some of these players where they talk about this and that, and it's kind of bizarre, but I think it's exactly what the NFL is looking to do, where with moving the combine, moving the draft, and just having something at all times to be in the news.
You know, I get that perspective from the NFL, and it makes a lot of sense. But I mean, at the end of the day, this like sets the table for a LeBron-like spectacle to happen on an annual basis as well.
Exactly what we.
So I mean, I don't. When you're talking about a high school athlete, there's like a few thousand people that might be upset that he's not going to X state university and is going to a competitor for like 5 minutes. But when you're talking about someone who has, the city of New York behind them or whatever it might be, it's a little bit bigger deal.
The backlash could be huge.
Yeah.
If somebody spurns your team, there could be just
like
an
with
outcry.
the hats in front of them there. Just be like, oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah. And like you mentioned that puts so much more pressure on GMs.
Oh, yeah.
Incentive-based stuff. Could it lead to under-the-table dealings where it's just like, hey,
I don't know how it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would because you have to get that leg up to get that person to sign with you, and based on the bargaining agreement,
like your $100,000 signing bonuses in the suitcase.
Yeah,
wink, wink.
Yeah, because you are limited on what you can offer. So really, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to find other ways. Maybe here's your nice new Audi car. Here's this, that, whatever.
Yeah, it's everything that's wrong with everything that goes wrong in the recruiting process would just be put on steroids.
That's
a
really good
bad
way of putting
pun,
it.
but that's basically what would happen.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And especially in social media today, how many people would be able to keep that secret within, the player's camp of, oh, he's going here.
Mm-hmm. Or be looking to get favorable coverage from a reporter in the future by leaking a nugget out there. I mean.
Or, leaking the wrong coverage. And I can see, like, gamblers, like, getting in on
there'd
too.
be prop bets set up on where
Exactly.
people would go. Yeah, absolutely.
And would it only matter if it was a big name player? Because obviously if you're some second string lineman, nobody's really going to care. Or if you're some special teams player, nobody's going to care. So it would seem like the dozen or half dozen or so key name free agents, those are the ones that it would really matter on, but those are the ones that would cause the most buzz and or backlash.
Yeah, seriously, think about Wes Welker putting on a Baltimore Ravens hat. I mean, at a press conference this year.
Or Ed Reed on Patriots.
Yeah, it would.
Both are possible.
I know. Just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, NFL, leave it to the NFL to try and figure out, new revenue ideas and ways to keep their brand, like Max said, in the calendar year.
Like you just said, with how much we just talked about that, it's probably a really good idea for the NFL.
Probably.
Just by how much we talked about it.
And, people would watch it and sponsors would get involved and be kind of sick pain, but whatever. Interesting to see if that will manifest itself in the future. Doubt it, but kind of something to think about. And another something to think about, I guess, is And One. Remember the And One brand from the 90s? Yeah, that's the same And One, mixtape tour. They're back, supposedly, and they just got recently bought by a New York-based company called Galaxy Brands, and they're really looking to revitalize it and come back in the market. They're launching the tour again, and they just signed Indiana Pacers guard Lance Stevenson to an endorsement deal, which, he's not an everyday player, so can And One be relevant again, especially in today's market with Under Armour, a new player?
Sure. I mean, they carved out, I think when they're a new brand, they carved out a very unique space.
Yes.
That's probably not being occupied right now, and where they fell apart is when you had And One stuff all over Walmart and Target.
Yep.
So, I mean, if they go back to their roots, which I'm sure Galaxy is planning, then, I feel like that space is still there to be had.
I mean, how relevant they were back in the day when they had Stephon Marbury and they had Kevin Garnett wearing their sneakers.
Oh, the good old days.
They were huge. And then with the And One mixtape tour, it was you had the Professor, you had Hot Sauce, you had all these guys doing things that most people couldn't do with a basketball.
Speaking of sauces.
Yes,
Hot sauce.
It was absolutely unbelievable to watch it. But then, like you said, it got so
saturated.
Very saturated.
Yeah.
It was just all over the place. You saw it everywhere. And after a while, the novelty of it kind of wore off.
Yeah. They really misplaced themselves. I mean, they came on as sort of this as an aspirational brand in the niche that they were in, and then they completely moved into being the Hanes gym shorts that you buy at Target as quick as possible to move more product, and they just lost the entire ability to have a proper branded price point.
Yeah, I could see them coming back. They obviously have to reach a new demographic because the demographic that they were targeting before. I mean, I'm 28, 29 years old. I'm not going to go buy And One shoes anymore. The And One mixtape tour isn't as relevant to me. So it's reaching a entirely new demographic that might not have known who And One was.
It's the same demographic. It's just different people.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's
So,
just
I mean,
you're reaching
a new generation.
Yeah.
New generation. These people might not have a clue what And One is. The people that they're trying to reach have no clue what a home phone with a cord on is. They don't understand that concept. They don't know what a busy signal is. So reaching out to them, and I'm sure that they have the creative mindset to get in touch with these consumers and to reach out to them. So I'm interested to see how it works.
You know, if you're charging $20 for a T-shirt, it's hard not to make money. I'm sure they're going to be all right as long as they're carving out a space and not trying to go head to head with someone right now. You know, it's really hard to be punching up and be as successful as a brand like Under Armour has been. You know, that entire battlefield's filled with people who have failed miserably.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how, they kind of recapture their hold in the urban markets.
Yeah.
Their reasoning with Lance Stevenson is, he's from Brooklyn, kind of epitomizes the Brooklyn brand or the Brooklyn persona. And but I thought it was a little interesting to go with him personally because he's, I believe, a third-year guard. He just had kind of a struggling two seasons with the Pacers, but now that Danny Granger was out, this season he's really stepped up. So he's emerging. It'll be kind of unique, interesting to see, their other athletes that they're profiling.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you're in a position like And One or even Under Armour, of some of the athletes that it sponsors, you kind of have to try to pick the right horse. If you even go back to like Nike with Michael Jordan, there's a ton of publicity around how that shoe deal got done when he was coming out of college with his 50th birthday. Nike was trying to find someone to break out of everyone being sponsored by Converse. And, they went above and beyond to get what they felt was the right person. And each one of these brands, if you get that right person, if Lance Stevenson goes on to 7 or 8 NBA titles here, he has his shoes, he has his brand, he has this entire image and mythology that they'll be able to build around him. Kind of like with Under Armour trying to get into baseball, so they made sure they got Bryce Harper in their backyard at 19 years old. Going young and kind of almost rolling the die a little bit makes a lot of sense in those deals.
It's baby steps. They got to start somewhere. One thing that they have to fix, I just Googled And One. The first things that pop up on Shop for And One on Google is a pair of $40 shoes at Sears and a pair of $15 shoes at Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, the fourth thing on here is And One apparel at Walmart. If that's not the message that I think that they want to send at all.
Right.
So there has to be some revitalizing of what they're doing. And, I don't know if they just wipe the slate clean and start completely over, but right now the message that they're sending, I don't think is what they want to send out.
Yeah, if you go to their corporate site right now, it's literally just clearance of stuff. So I imagine they have with the brand transition and brand purchase, they'll have entire new price points, entire new styles, entire new designs coming out.
Best of luck to them.
Best of luck to And One. My personal favorite was the Professor.
Professor was awesome.
The white guy, the
Yeah.
white point guard. Pretty awesome.
I wrestled. I have no clue.
You didn't
what you're
watch
talking
And One
about.
mixtape tour?
Never.
He doesn't understand basketball.
Oh, I
to him,
guess.
it's just an orange ball that somebody bounces.
Goes
It's
through a
pumpkin.
hole.
Yeah. You're throwing a pumpkin through a hole? What are you doing?
Well, and the oh no, he didn't. The MC on the court.
Yeah,
No.
he was good.
Classic. Oh, 90s.
Confused.
Confused is
Well,
right.
that I'm too old for it. Let's be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's that.
You didn't have any, better get on the bus because I'm taking you to school shirts.
No.
That was a mainstay of the And One brand. But that's a different story.
Jason understands Zubas.
Oh, okay.
That's
What are
more in
those?
his
Just like
realm.
the new
Zubas?
Adidas
Yes.
uniforms, right?
Yes. That's for a whole nother topic.
That's a whole new topic.
man.
That the new Adidas uniforms, but yeah, talk about Zubas. But thank you guys for some interesting conversation again, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on sportsbusinessnow.com, and have a good one.
SBN, Sports Business Now.